All right, we're live. And let me go live on Instagram. All right, welcome everyone to another episode of the KiltzHealth Livestream with Dr. Nelson. I am Dr. Nelson, and today we're exploring the powerful intersection between metabolic health and the stories we tell ourselves. Um, Before we dive into Matthew's incredible story, a quick bit of housekeeping for our viewers. Remember, while I am a physician and Matthew is a metabolic health success story, this live stream is for educational and transformational purposes only. I'm not your doctor, you're not my patient, and we're here just telling some stories. So it doesn't substitute for the advice of your healthcare provider. Always consult your healthcare provider if you want to make any major changes in your diet, in your lifestyle. We have recently gotten hit for something that's lived in a podcast. So, disclaimer up front. Anyway, it's we're not going to get into that. Anyways, if you're watching us live, please put in the comments whether you're carnivore, whether you're keto, whatever you're landing, just put in the comments. Or if you're keto, carnivore curious, also let me know. Also in the chat, please put your questions that you may have for me or for our guest. And if you put QQQ in front of it, there's a good chance I'll be able to see it. I apologize if I miss your question. You can always put it again, and we'll try to address it as soon as possible. So, joining me today is a man who understands the power of the narrative better than anyone, right? Matthew Burns is a top-tier marketing strategist with the Wizard of Ads, traveling across North America to help businesses 10x their growth. But back in August 2025, Matthew realized his own health needed a radical shift. After struggling with weight, lethargy, and the all too familiar brain fog, our paths crossed in San Diego. And Matt is going to tell us a little bit about that in a moment. So, welcome to the show, Matthew. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. I'm glad I can be here. I'm doing great. I'm 50 pounds lighter, so I'm doing fantastic.
All right. Well, I am so glad to have contributed maybe a grain. And by the way, my contribution was probably because of my story.
Oh, right? It was 100% your story. I mean, we don't move people by telling them the facts. It's never been the truth ever once. You and I got talking about why we were both there. And then I asked you a bunch of questions, and the more I asked questions, the more I got to the core of who you were. And once I got to the core of who you were, I was just mesmerized by the pathway. And I mean, I was there with a couple of partners from the Wizard of Ads, and we were letting the doctors and the health coaches and the scientists and everybody know that, listen, if you guys want to tell a more unique story, a more powerful story, we're here to help. And both my partners are either carnivore. One of my partners, Jack Yield, he's a carnivore. He's actually Dr. Avadian's host for his podcast.
Yeah, and many people here probably who watch Dr. Avadia. I don't know if you can see. That's Jack with the hat there, and he's with Dr. Avadia's podcast.
Yeah, and Leah that you saw on that, she's keto. And she's been since coming down and meeting with you guys, she's been both of them have been just huge champions and keeping me motivated. And I mean, it hasn't been the crappy part about the whole journey for me was it didn't end up being that hard. It was just making the right decision. I mean, the first decision, obviously, to start thinking about it. And I literally, the first day that I was at the show and had lunch, no, not had lunch, had dinner with everybody, all the participants, all the attendees, was the first meal of my new journey. And that was middle of, I think, the 12th of August. And here we are at the end of January. And listen, I said it was easy. It was easy. It's just, it's every single day making the same decision to be good to myself.
So I can say that I basically saw the switch, you throwing the switch from one way to the other.
Correct.
But if you don't mind saying how young you are, how old?
I'm old. I'm okay. I'm 54.
Okay. And listen, we all go through struggles, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes thinking we're doing the right thing, we might not be doing the right thing, and we go along this way. Sometimes we think, well, I'm in my 50s or 60s. This is supposed to happen, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm supposed to feel this way. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you do and what has happened for the previous 50 some odd years in Matthew's life that got you to maybe this place we were at the low carb San Diego
Correct
event back in August. That's what we are referring to.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, we were there. I grew up I live in Canada. I live in Nova Scotia, Halifax, Nova Scotia. And as a young kid, my dad really didn't maintain jobs. He wasn't all that, I don't know. My mom ended up stealing us in the middle of the night one night, but he moved us across the country. And so I've lived in almost every province, and I had done that before I was 10 years old. Just never spending more than 8 to 9 months in any one place and constantly chasing his tail. And so I figured later in life, I'd look back at all the coping mechanisms I was putting in place. And one of them was food. And I still to this day, like if I have a really stressful day, if I have something unexpected come up, I still find myself like getting a hunger pain and looking at the fridge and having to fight that. And I just didn't for 30 years. I've been obese since I was probably 27, 28. When I got married, at 29, I was 240 pounds. When I met you, I ended up being 308.4 pounds. And I'm active. I'm an active individual. My health, for the most part, I don't know how my blood markers aren't way worse than they are. But I was constantly tired and just never performing at my peak. And the mental fog that you said at the beginning of this is like, man, I'm a high performing strategist. I help businesses grow their top line in a big way, and I've got to be on. And I wasn't performing, and I got down. I was talking to these. I got to give a shout out to the Sod Father, to Peter Ballerstadt. I mean, I had a great conversation with him, and the way he presented his information about ruminants and grass-fed beef and preserving our land so that we can have healthier lives just spoke to me. The way spending time outside with Dr. Kiltz on the patio and having a conversation, getting deep into a conversation where we did not see eye to eye, and his patience with me and guidance was incredible. And I just went, man, I've been a sheep for a while here, and I've not taken control. And then I took control. That's all I can say.
So you mentioned already 50 pounds.
Yes.
But sometimes we look at that and we see the difference, right? This is what other people see in us.
Yeah.
For example, changing from here to this. But
yes.
you think that's the greatest benefit you have had? Or have there been other benefits like when we've mentioned the brain
No,
times?
not even close. The reason why I was able to get myself up to 308 pounds was because I didn't care how I looked. It wasn't about the way I looked. Right. I mean, and don't get me wrong, maybe that's not fair to my wife for the aesthetic side of it, for, my kids who could potentially be embarrassed by the size that I got to, they're both young, skinny young men with, with really healthy metabolisms. But I get up every day as soon as the alarm goes off. I'm more productive in the first 2 hours of my day than I have in years, in decades. I'm probably in the last 6 months since meeting you and starting this journey, I would say that I've probably raised my income by about 40%. Because I go to work every day supercharged. It is a completely different mental state. And the external weight loss is one part of the physical being, but what I noticed is every time I got to a plateau, so I would lose, I've been doing really good. I'm on a 20-hour fast every day. And then I only have a 4-hour window that I eat. And then I eat about 75% of what I eat is carnivore. It might even be more on a regular basis, but mostly carnivore. And then I supplement with raw foods, raw green foods. And I get to a plateau and my body shape changes, but it doesn't just change on the outside. Like I see the weight loss, but it's not the thing that really gets me excited. I feel inside for those 2 weeks or a week and a half or 3 weeks that I plateau at a weight, everything on the inside starts changing. The way my ribs sit, where my arms lie, the lower back pain gone. Lower back pain gone. I'm walking my 10,000 steps happily every day without thinking, where before I was like, okay, if I get in a walk, I'll be lucky, because if I started walking, it hurt and I couldn't keep up. And now it's like, no, I'm like, everything changed. Everything changed.
So people look at the difference and they probably ask you, okay, what are you doing? Obviously, whoever has seen you and sees you again,
Yes,
got to notice the difference. But sometimes all these other things that are changing is what makes us feel good.
correct.
It is the quality of life we're living now. And I've always struggled with size, but similar to you, I never cared much about, if you look at me and you think I'm, too large or too
Yeah.
small, that I wasn't gonna get down because of that. But the health improvements is what matters, right?
Yes.
So you mentioned eating window of 4 hours. I don't know if you've come across Dr. Jason Fung.
I have not.
Okay, he talks a lot about fasting and intermittent and time restricted eating. He's, uh, I believe he's Canadian. He's written a few books.
Okay. Yeah,
Uh,
I'll have to look him up.
talks a lot about fasting.
Yeah.
Anyways, so just a reminder for people, if you have any questions, I do have a question here. Bring it up. So Candy Cam or Candy K Am, I don't know what, JT. I lost 10 pounds the first 2 weeks in, nothing since, doing BBBE. Am I doing something wrong? And I don't know what the since length of time is. So if it's 3 years, maybe. If it's 2 weeks, weight loss, number one, is not linear, right? You have up and down sometimes. So also sometimes our expectations, if you're doing just this for weight loss only, um, this is not exactly what I would call a weight loss diet. It's a health optimizing diet, is what I call it. Eating the proper nutrition, eating the most nutritionally dense meat first approach, you're going to be nourished. And for many people who are looking to reverse diseases, this is certainly worth a try, because we have looks like we have about 80 people watching from the different channels, and I know for a fact many of these people have reversed multiple conditions, whether he answered 90 days. So you may need to talk to someone about tweaking a few things, but I have been, personal story, I sort of have been for the last almost 2 years about the same weight, and some up and downs depending on a few things. What am I going to do? Go back to eating the same way I was eating here because I have hit a stall? No.
But and Dr. Nelson, the most incredible thing to me that happened, because again, I said I didn't have a lot of health problems to really talk about it. I had some vitamin B deficiencies. I had some borderline deficiencies, and I don't know what they all are. But what was amazing to me was I got hurt in November, and so I had to go in and do a bunch of tests with the doctor, and my doctor called. So it was with a specialist. My doctor called because he got the blood work back, and he said, "What are you doing?" He just saw from my blood results. He says, "What are you doing? Everything's different. Everything's changed. Like everything." He said, like, everything is nominal. Like everything is nominal. And I'm like, I decided to eat mostly carnivore.
So we talk about your age, not to harp on that. By the way, I'm much older than you.
You don't look it.
But, well, thank you very much. I'm 65, and in just 19 days, I will be 66. But many men accept weight gain and fatigue as inevitable. Oh, my God. Inevitable. A part of aging, right? So how has your perspective changed regarding getting older?
Okay, so this has been the probably the biggest mental shift is, what we don't do? We don't educate ourselves enough on what our bodies go through when we go through the aging process. And we don't realize what actually affects what in the body, because we're not taught it. It's not, I mean, it's not even something that I mean, you're a doctor, you're a standard medical doctor, GP, from my memory, and you weren't behaving the way you are now because it wasn't standard to teach this. And so when you start educating yourself, you realize a couple of things, and you can correct anything I've got wrong here, because I may be wrong. I am definitely not a professional here, but as an aging man, testosterone's more important than it ever has been. And because without testosterone, you lose your metabolism. And without muscle mass, without being strong, you lose testosterone. And so the more I focus on eating properly and the more energy I have, the more I'm walking, the more I'm going up and down stairs, the more I've just recently started using band resistance and starting, because I needed to get strong slowly so that I could sustain myself. But the stronger I get, even the better this becomes, the easier this becomes. It's not singularly just eat meat. It's do the research, follow the people like Dr. Nelson and Dr. Kiltz, who are talking about all the things that are necessary for us as we get older, not just so that we have good metabolic health, in essence, but to actually be healthy. And it starts with correcting your metabolic health, and then do the other things that are necessary. Remember when we were, way back when, when the saber-tooth tigers were running around and we were hunting with spears, we were constantly moving, constantly growing our muscle tissue and eating. I mean, we were eating meat. We were killing animals and eating meat, and we wouldn't eat every day. And those body types were strong, way stronger than we are now. And the obesity wasn't a thing. So yeah, like, I don't know. I can't look backwards at this. I've learned, you get a peek under the curtain and you're like, what the heck?
Once and
right.
You mentioned a couple of things. So very interesting. I have, when I was younger, I was very active. I like to play basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball. I even have, many of you might not believe it, I have a couple of trophies on my mantle. But as we age and we get busy with work and life, sometimes we abandon that. But was the most important change you made starting exercising or changing your diet? And sometimes
1,000% diet.
Yeah. And at some point you felt like, okay, I gotta move more. I gotta do some strength training. But sometimes we look at people who are large and we're thinking, oh, he's not exercising enough. Like that. The most important thing, I'm not putting exercise down, of course, but once you change your diet, you start feeling better. Then you feel like I gotta also exercise, right?
Yeah. No, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say what I've learned is that food is my weight. Exercise is my maintenance, but food is all about my weight. That's what's taking care of shedding me down. I mean, I know it's not not the best marker, but I'm 10 BMI points lower than I was, and I'm still obese. Like, it's a big marker. Like, it's a big change just from eating better, just from choosing foods that are whole and natural. Like processed food, I haven't had, even when I eat out. I mean, I'd be the closest time. So like, I travel a lot for work. I meet with clients quite frequently. I'm probably on the road at least a week, maybe a week and a half, a month. And so I'm constantly having to make really, really good choices at restaurants and that sort of thing. Buying food while I'm at an Airbnb instead of going out to a restaurant to eat, and that sort of thing. And I can say with all honesty, I don't eat processed foods. I haven't had sugar at all in any form since the first meal on August 12th. Like that's been the one I've had to been the absolute most strict about, is just sugar specifically. Anything that has a carbohydrate attached to it directly or is mostly carbohydrate. I did cheat with popcorn a couple of times, so maybe I've lied there. Plain popcorn, but like I do, like sugar, sweets, desserts. I don't eat a dessert. Like I don't need it. I thought I needed those things, and I don't need them. There's no energy in them. They suck the life out of me.
And sometimes we don't realize that effect until we make the change. Because, and I'm gonna ask you, but I'll confess first. We're like in a 12-step program here. So my used to be, I would get out of the house, get in the car. I might have stop at a gas station to put some gas, or with the excuse of putting gas, maybe to go inside and get an apple fritter, a coffee, and sometimes I'll get a second apple fritter or some other thing that really wasn't a breakfast. And I would repeat that throughout the day. How has your day changed since you made this change? Well, tell me what you used to eat a lot of before, or the choices you made compared to now.
Okay, so I'm not really a sweets person, but ice cream was a big killer for me, and I live very close to a Dairy Queen, and that was probably a 3 or 4 day a week trip. You know, eat some food at home and then go get that for dessert at like 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, and having ice cream. If I opened a bag of chips, I finished a bag of chips.
Regardless of the size, right?
No, it didn't make a difference. Yeah, no way. The family pack from Costco, it was gone. I don't think this was a big change, because I was never a breakfast eater. I would eat breakfast on the weekends. I wouldn't eat it during the week. But lunch would be whatever was left over from the night before, plus whatever else I bought at the vending machine while I was at work. And then when I started working for myself and from home, then it was just really easy to go to the fridge and grab whatever. And then if we didn't have leftovers, then it was usually I would open up a tin of, or a bag of, or a box of something pre-made. And now I wake up in the morning, I do my walk. I since starting this, I bought a walking pad, like a mini treadmill. I do my walk. I go downstairs. I let the dogs out. It's Canada right now, and it's cold, so I don't take the dogs for their walks right now. And let the dogs out. I get a coffee. I make a coffee for my wife, and we sit and plan our day in the morning. And then I go up to my office with a big jug of water. I work until lunchtime. I do another small walk. And then around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I go back downstairs. I usually finish my day on my laptop. And after 4 o'clock, I usually have a piece of cheese or if I had some steak the night before, a piece of chicken the night before, I might grab a little bite of the chicken, just to nosh on, just to get me, because I'll guarantee by that point I've got a little bit of a hunger going on. And then we prepare a meal. By about 6:30, usually I'm done. 7 o'clock, I'm done. And then whatever is going on that evening. So whatever activity we have in the evening, and then I go to bed. So I have a 4-hour window. Most times I only eat in a 1.5 to 2 hour window. And that's my meal for the day. And I'm not shedding pounds. Like I'm not like, they're not flying off. And I'll go 2 or 3 weeks where I gain weight and fluctuate. And like I said, I call it a plateau, but it's never flat. It's always up, 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 down, 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 up, up, up. And I don't know why that is. I mean, I wish I had a
That's
better
what normally
explanation.
happens for most people. It's not a
Yeah.
flat line going straight down.
Yeah. But then I found that when I say to myself, my biggest trick, my biggest like Jedi mind trick that I've done for myself is when I get past a certain weight. So usually at the 10-pound marker. So when I was 308, I got lower than 300 by a couple of pounds. I just said, okay, I'm never going to be 300 pounds again. And so I watched the scale really diligently to get down to that, 392. And at 392 is usually where, that's when I first noticed, and the reason why that number sticks out is where I first plateaued, and I plateaued for a long time, and I was really discouraged. And then I said to myself, okay, I'm just going to behave like I'm already 389 pounds. And so I just behaved that way. I made the decision I was going to be lighter, and I became lighter. And then I would get down to like, somewhere in the neighborhood of 385. And I'd say, okay, I'm never going to be, 285. And I'm never going to be 290 pounds again. And that's been my promise to myself going forward. It's easy because you can weigh that and measure it. Now, in the last month or so, I've been more concentrating on my physical strength so that I can be a little bit more active on a daily basis, which is why my routines changed so much to walking and now with resistance bands. So now I added that in as well, but the marker is that I'm not going backwards, and I just brain hacked myself.
So you mentioned that you often go out with clients, right, to eat?
Yes. Yep.
And has any client made any comments about what's on your plate?
Everybody makes comments about the way I eat. Everybody makes comments about it. Are you kidding me?
What do they say?
I'll give you a really good example. So I was I'm in Montreal right now. I was in Vancouver onboarding a new client this last weekend. He's a really hardworking owner of a plumbing company, and he asked if we could do a weekend uncovery, which I don't normally do, but I said, yes, I got you, let's go. And when I go and meet with them, we're usually in their shop, or we're in their place of business, so I can learn who they are, so we can do a good job to figure out a good strategy to help them grow. And this time their shop heater broke, and on the Friday when I flew in, and I said, well, listen, why don't we meet in the Airbnb? And I'm one for, I take care of people. I live in thriving mode. So I went to the store on Friday when I landed, and I bought a whole bunch of food, and I put it on the table. So when they got there in the morning, there was things that they could snack on all day. Because I just believe in taking care of people, and no matter where they are in their journey, no matter where they are. And so I had a couple of not healthy snacks, but most of the table was meat sticks, cheese. I got some almonds. I got some almonds, and I got some walnuts, and then a couple of sweets things. And every time I got up to get a snack, I would sit down, and I say, listen, this is the one time I ate all day with the client. I ate all day. I say I ate all day. I would get up and have a piece of cheese. An hour later, I would go up and have a meat stick. I wasn't eating a lot of food, but I didn't want them to feel uncomfortable. But the client noticed, Sarush is his name. He goes, you didn't have, like, those donuts are great. And I'm like, yeah, I don't eat donuts. And he goes, what do you mean don't eat donuts? I said, I don't eat anything processed. And he goes, yeah, like, you're just coming back with nuts, or you're just coming back with cheese. It's like, why do you do that? And then my partner, Leah, was actually with me. Leah, who's on that card that you showed earlier. And she goes, oh, actually, Matthew's going through a transformation right now, and he's mostly carnivore. And the guy's like, what? He goes, tell me all about that. And he got all excited. And I said, okay. And I was surprised, because besides my wife, who's extremely supportive, and in my transformation, she's lost her own 20 pounds and is loving her life and feeling better and has less brain fog and all of that stuff. And just because she's like, well, if you're not eating, I'm not eating. And if you're going to eat that, I'm going to eat that. he was extremely supportive. And then we went out for dinner that night, and he said, okay, how do I eat like that? Because I ordered a steak, and I said, I don't need any carbs. I said, you can leave the vegetables. I may or may not eat them. And I didn't order. I said, what do you guys want for apps? I pay when we go out for dinner, and they ordered apps, and I'm not eating the apps. Like, how are you doing this? Like, how can you do this? And I said, it's just a decision. It's just like anything else. And so the shock and awe of like, it's possible just to, and like, I'm like, yeah. And then what didn't even come out that I was 50 pounds heavier in August. They didn't know, they didn't realize. They were just like, how do you do that? So that's surprising. Like, to most people, it's surprising.
Why do you think people are more afraid of a steak than they are of a bagel?
Because we've been told that our entire lives. What are you talking about? The Canadian Food Guide tells us that that we're supposed to have half our plate is grains, that a third of our plate is supposed to be meat, and it just drives me nuts. Like, the food guides are just wrong, right? I mean, we've been indoctrinated to eat this way. People think that if you eat fat, you become fat. Like, it's like word association, which is the most ridiculous thing. Fat is just energy. It's the same thing as sugar, except for it doesn't kill you, and it doesn't take as long to break down. It doesn't burn hot. Like this is the thing. Like, sugar turns into cancer. Sugar turns into skin problems. Sugar turns into diabetes. I mean, if you don't realize that, and you don't realize how easy it is just to change one energy source to another energy source, right? Like, why is clean energy better than fossil fuel? Well, whether you believe it or you don't believe it, it's really easy to go between one energy source to the other. Just do it. I get frustrated now when people are like, oh man, you're gonna die because you eat too much butter. I'm like, what? There's no such thing. Like,
that's the way we probably were eating up to about 125 years ago, mostly.
Right.
Meat and butter and eggs, and
right.
In particular, when the food pyramid came out in the 70s, late 70s, we started seeing the effect within years of people eating less fat, less meat, and we have much more diabetes, cancer, heart attacks, and strokes. Okay? Just take a little bit of a history tour and you will realize that.
Super active. Like, we were convincing ourselves in the 80s and the 90s that if you were overweight, you needed to be more active. That was what we were told. It was, participation came out. We were told we needed to move more. We needed to do stuff, except for we weren't told that what we actually need to do is put whole foods in our body. Right? We weren't told that our body runs on protein, that our body completely is built on it. And that in protein, we're going to get all the nutrients that we need in those cells, in red meat, in poultry, in fish, that we're getting what we need because the fish is getting what it needs. Our bodies weren't built to process so much. Our bodies are meant to convert what we need into what we need. That's why ruminants are so amazing. That's why cows and four-stomached animals are so amazing, because they actually take the stuff that we can't eat and turn it into the things that we can. Right?
Yeah,
there is a design here.
The ruminant vegan animal.
Right. Yeah. I don't eat what my food eats, I guess, is the rule, but I still eat a little bit of it because it tastes good to me.
So you mentioned your wife. At least she's eating more meat on her plate, I guess.
Correct.
How about other members of your immediate or extended family? Have they said anything? Because these are people who at least look at your face and look at you more often, right? And so they have noticed two things. They have noticed the weight change, but also the way you're eating.
Correct. So both my adult children live with me still. my oldest son is he's 23, almost 24 years old. He's saving up so that he doesn't want to rent. He wants to, so he's staying at home. My wife will be happy if he was 80 and was living with us. So I guess it makes her happy. And he's shocked. He's actually really fit. He does a lot of meal prep. He eats better. He counts macros. Like he's probably the closest to what I am, but he's not quite there. He loves cheesecake. But he's also young and he builds muscle. So he's doing a really good job building muscle, and he eats a lot of proteins. He's counting protein macros, which is really good. It'll catch up to him eventually and he'll convert. My younger son is a chef. So he's actually almost finished culinary school. He spent a year traveling, a summer, 6 month, 7 month stint at a resort. And while he was away is when I made this decision. So he was away last summer and I made this decision. I started living that way. I told him what I was doing. And then he came home in October and he went, "Dad, like, what the heck? Like, holy moly." And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "So tell me again, what are the foods?" He says, "What are you eating?" And I said, the easiest way is if you look up keto, it's keto. It's not really truly keto. It's keto adjacent and it leans towards carnivore, but I'm eating a lot of meat. And he goes, "Okay." And this kid on his own went into school and found a chef, one of his professors, one of the chef instructors, to help him develop a keto based menu and created from scratch recipes. He completely embraced what I'm doing and gave me, he creates meals where he makes it for everybody else and he makes me and my wife a meal. And then he's been trending towards eating the way I'm eating, which has been beautiful. He totally took it as a concern for his dad. He goes, "If you're going to do it, I'm supporting you." And I was like, "Man, I said, you don't need to do any of this." I said, this is my journey. You get to do what you want. I mean, I hope you guys stay safe. My mom has been the biggest one. So my mom is 76 this year and lives alone. And, it's really hard to cook for one person. And I say that jokingly because now it's not put a steak on the grill, eat the steak. I mean, like, it's really not that hard to cook for one person. But she's always, listen, she raised kids and family and always cooked big meals, and she eats the shittiest food. Pardon me. Can I say swear words on this thing? I don't want to. No. She eats the worst foods for herself. And because she's eating packaged goods now, because it's just easy and simple and she doesn't have to think too hard. And she told me about 3 weeks ago. So she's heard me, seen me go through this. She lives in Ontario. I live in Nova Scotia, but we talk on a regular basis, and I've gone to see her a bunch of times. And in the last 3 weeks, she told me 3 weeks ago that the previous month, so the month of December, she decided to get rid of all the stuff I told her the last time I was there to get rid of, and to eat natural food. So she will not be carnivore, but she's eating vegetables.
But that's a big improvement, definitely.
It's massive. And she told me because she's down 10 pounds. Her blood markers have changed in just 10 pounds. She has a regular visit because she has a blood disorder, and her blood markers have all changed, and she's brighter than she's ever been and happier. And she thought she was depressed because she was living alone. She started to get a depression, and she said, "I don't feel the same way. And now she feels like she has purpose again. She feels like she's in control of herself." And it's amazing to feel that. Like, the one thing I don't know that anybody, like, if you're on here and you're listening, and any motivation you ever need, the story you tell yourself is the most powerful story. And so when you say, Dr. Nelson, when you said earlier, like, most men, they get in, I don't think it's most men. I think it's most humans. They get to an age when they go, "Hey, listen, this is my fate. I'm here now. And so this is what I'm going to deal with." I don't have knee pain. I don't have to deal with knee pain. I can run upstairs. I don't have pain in my ankles. I don't go when I get out of bed anymore, or when I stand up from the chair. I told you my lower back pain is gone. My mom is singing now. She's just happy. And it's because she's not burdened by things. She's not burdened by the chemicals. She's not burdened by being, her body, burning sugar and creating carcinogens and hurting her. And she didn't believe me. I mean, it took her a long time to see the results of what I was doing. And she's like, I got to go shopping. I'm like, yeah, you do. Let's go. Let's get a new shirt. Let's get a new pair of pants that fit better. Let's get, feel pretty. Do the thing that, whatever it is it takes you to feel pretty. Like, it gives your motivation to move forward. And that's huge. But you have to take the action at the beginning.
So food companies are not going to be very happy with us here, but if you really cut everything that comes in a box, a bag, or a can, and
Correct.
you stick with whole foods, that probably will be the most, it'll be a big change in your health, I think. And yes, if you're carnivore, I was very sick, diabetes, a bunch of other stuff. So I have to be more restrictive. But what do you think? Is it restrictive or extreme to eliminate all the things that are not making us be well?
I laugh because if something's hurting you, if somebody came up to you and pointed a gun at you or tried to hit you with a stick, would you not defend? Like, would you not protect yourself? Would you not do what it takes to be safe? That's the same as eating whole foods. All you're doing is taking the action necessary to be safe and healthy. So is it restrictive? No, it's freeing, because I don't have a lot of decisions to make as to what I need to eat today. I think the biggest myth is everybody thinks that you're not allowed to have flavor anymore, or you're not allowed, you're restricted to, no, I've got it. Listen, reach out to me at some point and I'll make sure to throw you 2 or 3 good recipes that my son has created that are completely keto, and using only whole foods that he's made so that we can make in the house. They don't have to be in a chef's kitchen to make. It's freeing. It's not restrictive. You haven't gone to the very edge of anything. You're actually doing what's supposed to be done.
All right. I've been looking forward to that keto carnivore book he's going to write with your help.
I know, right? Exactly. Oh my gosh. The stories that go with the recipes, right? That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So how has hunger changed for you?
Ooh, that's interesting. Full disclosure, I am hungry all the time, but it's completely different now. The strangest thing about doing what I'm doing now is that I actually can. I didn't. People say this, and you'll hear this on other podcasts, or you'll hear this people talk about listen to your hunger signals and know what they mean. And if I had started this going, okay, I'm going to listen to my hunger signals, I would never have started, because I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to them, I'm hungry, and I go eat. It's not the way this works. Now my stomach is always talking to me, and I'm using the word that I always feel hungry. I'm not always hungry. I'm always noticing what my stomach is doing or thinking or saying. What has completely gone away, which until right now, I didn't really think of it because I was thinking about my hunger signals, is I don't have acid reflux. I don't know if everybody on it, I don't burp. I don't have little bits of food from my stomach or acid that's bubbling up because there's so much going on down there. I don't have that coming up. I think the biggest thing that I noticed
before.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, like really badly. I was never on medicine. It wasn't that bad, but I was constantly retasting. I don't know, it's disgusting, but my stomach was always full. Like I always had food in it. I didn't go, like once I started eating, I ate till I went to bed. And I thought for sure I was going to starve to death when I started this pathway. And now I just noticed that my stomach is there. And I just drink some more water. Like I fill it up with water. It goes, oh yeah, I'm not hungry. I'm bored, or I'm anything. Like there's so many reasons why you feel hungry, and it's not usually
very often it's you're bored, you don't have anything else to do, let me put something in my mouth. And in the past, now you reach for water, for example, but in the past, and I did that too, I would reach for whatever was available. I didn't discriminate. Doesn't look like I discriminate against food, right? It just if it was available, I eat it. I was on a truly seafood diet. Anything I see, I eat.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. You and I are built from the same cloth there. Absolutely.
So, as a marketing strategist,
yes,
why do you think the low-fat, plant-based narrative has been so successful despite the declining public health when this has been pushed for the past 50, 60 years?
Wow. The narrative has been, I mean, like it's been a long road of the narrative of anything easy is better for us. Right? Like, I mean, like being able to reach into the cupboard, grab a box of crackers, eat some crackers to fulfill your satiety. It's so easy to do, right? Like cooking. Nobody's going to cook a steak in a microwave. That's just the dumbest thing you're ever going to do. But it's the easiest thing to do, right? You can just throw it in there. It'll cook. It'll brown. It'll get there. But nobody does that for flavor or for the joy of cooking. Just because it's easy doesn't mean it's right. But we've been sold that if you can grab it quickly and go, I mean, like protein bars, like it's one of those things where like even protein bars, oh yeah, no, protein's good for you, but so grab it in a protein bar, but except for it's not, it's there's so much processed stuff to keep it shelf stable. Plus they add sugar, plus it's not just a protein bar. If you want a protein bar, eat protein, right? But it's that easy grab and go, make it shelf stable, and we've been just declining in the amount, just drowning in the amount of things that are easy for us to eat. And I also think that because we've made it so accessible and inexpensive to eat that way, that it's harmed us. And so the messaging has always been, it's all about ease, and which is why, like, it's funny because you said something about like, is it extreme to eat carnivore, or is it the appropriate thing to do? And it's the story that you tell, and this is why I said earlier, it's the story that you tell yourself. If I've got 2 kids, a husband, right, or a wife, and I'm running between work and soccer games, and I've got this and this and this to do, and the mortgage is like, and you look at all the ads that talk about your life is so stressful, make it easier by having Ritz crackers, right? If your life is so stressful, here's the microwave meal that's going to make your life better, right? Because it saves time. They don't talk about, here's the thing that's going to save your life. Here's the thing that's going to, knock back diabetes. Here's the thing that's going to, and it's so simple as just eating protein. It's so simple as just don't eat something processed. It's so simple as to don't eat refined sugar. Not all sugar is bad for you. Throw some berries into your body every once in a while. Like eat a whole food. If you can pluck it and eat it, if you can pull it out of the ground and you can eat it, if you can, and unfortunately, if it's an animal that is edible, then eat it. Eat it. It's how we sustain ourselves. It's how we give our body the things that it actually needs to repair and grow and be better. And that's a really simple story. And the problem is that most people don't believe in simple stories. It's probably why Your life journey was what convinced me, not all the speakers that were at the low carb USA, because your story was the one that was like, man, like you have a life. You've experienced, you've struggled, you've grown, you've fallen, and now you triumph and you've got purpose. And it's that motivated me to want to go further. Listening to Dr. Kiltz and his true belief, his passionate true belief, and his acceptance of people who are not exactly like him. Don't tell me I have to be one way, right? He never did that. We didn't see eye to eye, and yet he was like, man, I really appreciate this conversation. This was amazing. I'm so glad we met. So no, I think that the narrative that we've been fed of if it's easier, it's better, is what's driven us so far down. And I think the narrative to make the change is really easy, because I think if we simplify the message and we tell our human stories, we will win.
So we're coming to an end shortly, but I'm going to put you on the spot.
Uh-oh.
So we're starting a marketing campaign.
Okay.
You're branding the keto and carnivore lifestyle for our audiences. What will be your headline?
What's the tagline? What's the headline for keto carnivore lifestyle? I think I'd have to do a little bit of thought here, but I think it's really simple. I'm a coach. I coach baseball. I've been coaching baseball since I was a young man. My grandfather played for the Cincinnati Reds. He taught me baseball. And I tell kids success is a choice. And it doesn't matter what you want to do. If you eat properly, you've eliminated all the obstacles to make the right choice to be successful, and no matter what success means to you. You've eliminated an obstacle of that debilitates you to be able to be successful. So I think that all we need to do is focus on choosing a pathway for success, no matter what success means, and it starts with the way we take care of our body. So I think success is a choice.
Well, where can people find you if they wanted to talk to you, whether it's about the way you're eating or your marketing business? Because this is what you do day in and day out.
Yeah. If anybody wants to reach out, I'm more than happy to talk about my journey on choosing to be better with my eating and my health. Or about marketing, absolutely. You can reach me at matthewburns.com. There's multiple ways to find me there, whether it's a direct link or give me a call. But just my first and last name, matthewburns.com.
All right. Let me see. So this is right.
That's correct. And it's changing soon. When you see it, you might see it next, and it's going to be all dark. In about a week and a half, we're doing an update. Oh my God, look at how big my face was there.
We need to update that picture.
No kidding.
So
yeah, that's correct. That's me.
All right. Well, thank you for being here with us. MatthewBurns.com, that is his name. And we didn't even talk much about baseball, because you say your grandfather played for the Cincinnati Reds. I have a love of baseball.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that. Yeah, we did in San Diego, man. We definitely, guys, talk to Dr. Nelson. He's just the coolest dude. And we bonded a lot, and I can't wait for our next phone call so that we can hang out again. I can't wait. Probably in San Diego. I'm definitely going to be down there, so we can do some more hanging out.
All right. I just this past weekend we were in low carb Boca. because we're Doug Reynolds does San Diego and Boca every year. However, this next year is instead of Boca, it's going to be San Antonio,
Oh, beautiful.
Texas. San Diego will continue. That was the original, and every year will be there. But now it's gonna instead of Boca next year will be San Diego. In 2 years will be Boca again. But again, like I said, thank you for being here, and you all have a great day. At 5:30 in the community, we have a Zoom call, so I'll see everybody there. Okay,
Thank you, Dr.
have a
Nelson.
good day.